Okay, awesome. Hello, everybody. My name is Lloyd Masika. Good morning, afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Today I'm presenting my social media analytics final project, which is a brand competitor analysis for the automotive industry. We're going to be focusing on Toyota as my client and Honda as the competitor brand. Over the next 10 or 12 minutes, hopefully, I will walk you through secondary research about the industry, detailed social media analytics from Brandwatch, and textual and sentiment analysis for both brands. A competitive head-to-head comparison, essentially, and strategic recommendations for my client, Toyota. Now, let's get started. Before we do, check out this little graphic right here. Toyota versus Honda. Thought it was pretty fun while making this project. Um, let's go right into it. So right now what we have is our table of contents right before we dive in. Just a quick roadmap of what we'll cover today. We will begin with the automotive industry landscape, then look at Toyota and Honda individually. As you can see here, their founding products and stakeholder relationships. From there, we'll move into Brandwatch methodology. Okay. Where I will share textual analysis, sentiment data, and word cloud results for both brands. Okay, we will then compare them head to head before wrapping up any strategic recommendations and a conclusion. So it will be fairly simple, to say the least. However, I tried my hardest to make the PowerPoint as digestible as possible because it was a bit technical. You're gonna see a lot of what we did on Visme here because I really like the graphing on there, and I've never really done anything like that, so I decided to use it within my project. So, diving straight into the automotive industry interview or overview, excuse me. So to set the stage, let's take a look at the industry as a whole. This is a massive industry. As you can see, we got big T over here for trillion. All right, valued at about $3.8 trillion globally, with about 74 million vehicles sold. Um, that's of 2024 alone. Toyota commands 13.6 of that global market share, making it the clear leader, while Honda holds about maybe 5% of that market share, which is pretty surprising. When I was diving into this, I expected a little bit more from Honda, considering, they don't only make vehicles, but they dive in a few other realms as well. But we're gonna stay relevant here, stay on topic. Now, what's happening in this industry right now is six major trends are shaping the competition. First, there is a rapid shift towards electrification, whether it be BEV, PHEV, and hybrid vehicles, um, which are now the center of every automaker's R&D strategy or investment. All right. Second, we got Chinese brands like BYD distributing and or excuse me, disrupting the market with aggressively priced electric vehicles. Third, we got hybrid vehicles that are surging in popularity as practical middle ground for consumers who aren't already uh or ready to go fully electric. Okay, putting a bridge the gap between ICE and full EV. Excuse me. Beyond that, autonomous driving and software-defined vehicles are redefining what a car even means. We got tariff validity is creating a supply chain headaches across all the board, And finally, consumers uh, are demanding or continue to favor SUVs and crossovers over traditional sedans, which is critical context for understanding both Toyota's and Honda's best-selling models. Okay. And this is just a brief overview of the data collected as for this slide. Fantastic. Now we're moving on to my client profile, which is Toyota. And let's meet our client. Toyota Motor Corporation was founded in August 28th, 1937 in Aichi, Japan. All right, by a man named Kiichiro Toyoda. I tried practicing his names a few times before the presentation. However, I still botched it. I apologize for that. Its global headquarters remain in Toyota City, Aichi Prefecture, Japan. Today, Toyota is led by CEO Koji Sato and employees over 375,000 people worldwide. In fiscal year 2024, the company reported revenue of over 274 billion, excuse me, one of the largest revenue figures of any automaker on the planet. And you may know their tagline, "Let's go places," which perfectly captures their brand promise of reliability, adventure, and forward momentum. So that's our client. We move on to Toyota's products and market standing. Now, looking at Toyota's lineup and market performance right here on the left, the numbers are remarkable. The bar chart on your left shows Toyota's top selling models in 2024. The RAV4 was not just Toyota's best seller, it was the single best selling vehicle on the entire planet. That's possibly why you see a lot of them on the road now. With almost 1.19 million units sold globally, the Corolla came in on a third worldwide at right about 859,000 units, and the Camry added about 680,000 more. Okay. On the right side right here is the performance highlights, just to tell an equally impressive story. Toyota has been the number one automaker globally for 5 consecutive years. Its reliability score per Auto Reliability Index is 75 out of 100, which is the highest among mainstream automakers. Now we're all familiar with JD Powers. In 2025, they did a vehicle dependability study record with only about 162 problems per 100 vehicles for Toyota, and Brand Finance named Toyota the world's most valuable car brand, that is, in 2025. Now, YouGov Brand Index placed it at the top 10 global brands of 2026. Make it a little bit more relevant. Thanks, YouGov right there. Um Now perhaps the most important for our current industry moment is 40% of Toyota's global sales in 2024 were hybrid or electrified vehicles. A massive validation for its long time running hybrid first strategy. All right, which was essentially what they were aiming for here. This is what I meant by I used a lot of Visme knowledge in my project because I really like the graphs. They just show very simply how, you know, how they were performing, their market standing, and it's pretty basic. I like the way it's put together here. I mean, it wasn't easy, but it definitely makes the digestion of the project a lot more easy. Now we move on to our next slide, stakeholder relations and history for Toyota Motorsport. Now, you got six cards here. Just customers, government, investors, employees, recall history, and community. Now that recall history is going to be important for us throughout the duration of this presentation for both Toyota and Honda. However, let's dive into it. All right. Every brand story is shaped by its relationships with key stakeholders. So if you take a look at how Toyota stands with each of them, right here at the customers, Toyota enjoys incredibly strong brand loyalty. Over 82% of customers say they would recommend the brand to others. I'm sure you've probably met someone in real life who's recommended a Toyota to you, right? Now, Toyota Safety Sense, their advanced driver's assistance suite comes with standard comes standard on all new models, which reinforces that trust. Okay, so whether you're getting the base model, any basic model, or you even go for premium luxury or sport models, they all come with safety sense standard on all models. Now, as per the government, Toyota has been an active partner in carbon neutrality discussions globally. Their Beyond Zero initiative commits the company to carbon neutrality across all products and operations by 2050, allegedly. Okay. Now, there has been some tension in regulatory markets over Toyota's relatively slower rollout of full battery electric vehicles. However, if you ask for my personal opinion, I believe this is just a simple trickle effect. That way, it's not really shocking all of their, you know, um, customers and loyal customers now, scaring anybody away rather than that they're making a sense of growth. You know, nothing good comes quick. Classic old saying. Okay, now we move on to the investors over here. Strong fundamentals, excuse me. Positive 5-year stock performance, record revenue of 274 billion in FY 2024, and major new battery plant being built in North Carolina, not too far from here, also on the East Coast. That's nice. All sending confidence signals to the investment community, essentially for anybody that's really focused on stocks or building up their investments or even back end employees who have already invested a lot of their incoming revenue into the company. They watch it build. And I won't get into that. Let's just move on to the employees. How about that? The Toyota production, oh, excuse me. The Toyota Production System, or the TPS, is literally the global benchmark for lean manufacturing. Toyota is consistently ranked among Japan's top employees or employers with over 375,000 people in its payroll worldwide. As of 2024, I should add. Um, wasn't able to get some of the newer years, at least, uh, reliable statistics on that. Wanted to be as accurate as possible. Now we move on to the recall history. Like any large automaker, Toyota has faced recalls, most notably a 2024 engine debris recall affecting the Tundra and the Lexus LX models. For anyone that doesn't know, Lexus and Toyota are actually pretty much the same brand. Lexus is the luxury line of Toyota. They also sell some sports vehicles too. Um, my personal favorite, Lexus LS 400, 1999 is the one that I had. Beautiful car, amazing. They poured over 1 billion into the manufacturing of that model. So if you like older cars, that's where you should look. It is a sedan though. Not many people like sedans. Quite the big sedan. Excuse me, I'm getting off topic now. Um, the production suspension in Japan in 2024 hit domestic sales by about 14%, something Brandwatch picked up through a spike in negative mentions in that period. All right. Now we move on to the community. Toyota's giving programs to support STEM education um and motorsports through excuse me, and they are deeply embedded in motorsports through NASCAR and worldwide endurance championships, which strengthens the community ties globally. And for anyone that doesn't know, Toyota is also very well known in the actual automotive community just for not only its reliability but its versatility in their vehicles and I would say their durability as well. Kind of outlast a lot of these newer cars that are coming out from especially, different brands. But I digress. Okay. Now let's meet our competitors um at Honda. S- essentially the same here. However, Honda does have some very standout notable statistics that I want to get into as soon as possible. However, let's meet our competitor. Honda Motor Company was founded on September 24th in 1948, just over a decade after Toyota, by the legendary engineer uh, Soichiro Honda in Hamamatasu. Hamamatasu, yeah, Japan. Today, its headquarters are in Minato City, Tokyo, and Honda is led by its CEO, Toshiro Mibe, and employs over 197,000 people worldwide. In its fiscal year 2025, Honda reported a revenue of approximately 21.7 trillion Japanese yen, which translates to roughly 140 billion US dollars. A very strong figure, though significantly below Toyota's 274 billion. Honda's brand tagline is the power of dreams, a nod to their heritage as the engineering first, um, innovation driven company. And they live up to it, honestly. Honda is also the world's largest manufacturer of motorcycles and small engines, not just automobiles. And that's what I was touching on a little bit earlier. They're also known for heaps loads of uh, tons of other things, but this says automobiles, motorcycles, small engines go. I'm sure you have a lawnmower somewhere, a weed whacker made by Honda, even some tools, maybe a speaker, but I digress. Um, let's move on to their products and market standing. Now, as you can see here, a little bit more of that Visme knowledge. I really do like that tool. Um, However, Honda's product lineup in the US is anchored by three iconic nameplates. The CRV, which we've all seen on the roads, we see it now, we see it today, led Honda's US sales in 2024 with approximately 330,000 units, followed closely by the Civic, which is iconic, let me say, at 310,000 and the Accord at 280,000. These three models form the core of Honda's brand and their identity and its most loyal customer base, to be honest. Now, here's where the comparison with Toyota becomes a bit interesting. Honda holds about 5% of the automotive market share, less than half of what Toyota's 13.6 market share is at. Honda sold about 3.7 million vehicles in their fiscal year 2024, um, compared to Toyota's 10.8 million. That's nearly 3-to-1 difference in total volume. Okay. That said, Honda is not a weak brand at all. About 70% of Honda's customers identify the brand with high quality, and 82% said they would recommend Honda to others. And I've been a victim of this. I have a few friends with some Hondas now who believe Honda is as best as it could go. However, I have big dreams. I love the finer things in life. However, I know I could appreciate um Honda. It's one of those if you expect nothing, appreciate everything. This is the vehicle for you. It will never, ever, ever leave you on the side of the road. I mean, just like a Toyota, but I digress. Let's continue on. That said, Interbrand ranks Honda as the 21st most valuable global brand. Okay, you can see right down here. And JD Power's 2025 dependability study recorded 201 problems per 100 vehicles. So that's for Honda. Now, more than Toyota's 162, you know, a bit slight of a difference there, but still below the industry average. And per reliability index, Honda scores at about 73 out of 100 for reliability, just 2 points behind Toyota's 75. Pretty simple, pretty plain. And as you can see right here, I just really love the charts. I apologize. Now we move on to the brand watch methodology. This is just this where I really compiled all the tools that I use from Brandwatch. Um, I gathered the social analytics data for this analysis using Brandwatch, one of the leading social listening and consumer intelligence platforms in the industry. Now, Brandwatch uses AI and natural language processing to analyze consumer conversations across over 100 million online sources. So for Toyota, my search terms included the brand name itself, specific model names like the Toyota Camry, the Toyota RAV4, Toyota Hybrid, or the thematic terms like Toyota Hybrid, Toyota Reliability, Toyota EV. And even the tagline, let's go places, the high volume social signals like at Toyota or at hashtag Toyota 2025. I also included Toyota recall to capture crisis related conversations, just so we could get a good understanding on both ends. Now, for Honda, I built a parallel set of queries, the brand name, model specific searches such as you know, Honda Civic, Honda CR-V, thematic terms as well with Honda Hybrid, Honda Reliability, Honda EV. I included their tagline in their brand tagline, the power of dreams, and social handles as well. At Honda, hashtag Honda CRV, and again, Honda recall query to track the negative narrative. Now, this data was pulled from Twitter, it was pulled from X, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, online news sources, and blogs covering the period of 2024 through 2025. Um, Pretty simple and plain. I mean, it was quite a bit of fun using Brandwatch. Um, Never used a tool like that that really pulls everything in together in a more so professional manner. And putting it all together, we move on to the textual and analytics results. Um, Now this is specifically focusing on Toyota here. Excuse the notifications. Don't know how to turn those off yet. Now this pie chart, um, just more Visme knowledge. This is the heart of the analysis right here. We're looking at Toyota's brand watch results. Now, this pie chart on the left breaks down what people are actually talking about when they mention Toyota's online. Okay. The dominant conversation cluster at about 34% of all topic mentions centers on hybrid vehicles and fuel efficiency. I put that right there. So, and that's what we're looking at on that top right dark red 34% right here. This is huge. It means that Toyota's nearly 3 decade investment in hybrid technology, starting with the original Prius back in 1997, which almost everybody hated. However, a lot of people bought them, has become definingly, um, or excuse me, a defining identity of the brand in the public consciousness. And people talk about Toyota and they think hybrid. Not many people are thinking, big gas guzzler, dinosaur fuel, you know. It's also the second largest cluster or excuse me, the second largest cluster um on this pie chart we got here is 28% at reliability and longevity. Words like dependable, long-lasting, and trusted appear repeatedly. This is Toyota's core brand promise, showing up organically in social conversations without the brand even having to ask. Now, the SUV cluster, RAV4, Highlander, that accounts for about 18%. EV transitions content around the BZ series makes up 11%, and recall related content accounts for about 9% of total mentions. On the right side here, we just have some keyword associations to confirm these trends. Phrases like reliable, dependable, long-lasting, fuel efficient, hybrid, Prius, and RAV4 bestseller family car dominate positive conversation. However, the alarming trend call out at the bottom is important. Recall mentions are surging, and EV slowness narratives are comparing Toyota unfavorably to BYD, which is the emerging Chinese company and is gaining traction. Now let's move on to Honda's textual analytics results. Okay, which tell a very different story. Honda's largest topic cluster right here at the 30% is performance and driving enjoyment. Honda's always been a driver vehicle. It's always been a vehicle for memorabilia, and it is huge in the car community. Um, Engaging in fun to drive, appearing consistently. This makes sense. It's cultivated performance-oriented identity through the Civic Type R, the Accord, and decades of motorsports involvements. Consumers genuinely love driving Hondas. Now, me personally, in my opinion, I believe it's because of the engines. Engines like the D series, the J motors. They have a few H motors which are rare. However, they are built very specifically to not only balance reliability, but give a lot of performance as well. And fuel economy has never been a problem unless you start adding on a few more performance parts that you know, basically ask the engine or the computer for more fuel. Reliability content accounts for about 25% of Honda's mentions, followed by fuel economy at 20%. So far, so good. But here's where Honda's picture gets a little bit more complicated. The recall quality issue content accounts for about 15% of all Honda brand mentions, nearly double Toyota's 9%. And the electrification content only accounts for about 10%. Signals that Honda's EV storytelling is not yet breaking through. One word uh excuse me, on the word association side over here on the right, we see positive terms like Civic, Accord, CRV, best in class, and affordable value for money. But the alarming terms are impossible to ignore. We got transmission failure, CVT issues. CVTs are also transmissions, and class action lawsuits and infotainment systems um, appear prominently in Honda's social conversation. These are not minor footnotes. They are actively driving negative brand sentiments. Um, for Honda. That's what it is. Now we move on to the sediment. Excuse me. 1 second here. Excuse my brief recess. I am back. Just had to take a quick call there. Now, let us get straight back into it. Um, as of the sediment comparison, um, and this is just including Brainwatch's results here. We really see the brand's health gap between Toyota and Honda. The clustered bar chart compares sediment distribution across three categories: positive, neutral, and negative. For Toyota's brand watch record, 58% positive sediment. That means more than half of all mentions about Toyota carry a positive emotional tone, driven primarily by reliability, hybrid performance, and safety. Neutral mentions account for about 27%, and negative mentions are relatively contained at just 15%. Honda, by contrast, comes in at about 51% positive, still majority, but 7 percentage points behind Toyota. Honda's neutral mentions are similar at 26%, but the real story is in the negative column, excuse me. Um, Honda logs 23% negative sentiments. Um, that is more than 8% higher or percentage points higher than Toyota. In social media terms, that is a significant gap. All right, the root causes are clear on the right side of the slide here. Toyota's negative content is driven by engine recalls and the BEV competitiveness narrative. However, Honda's higher negativity is fueled by CVT transmission failures and the ongoing infotainment class action lawsuit, both of which generate high volume, emotionally charged content online. Now, use some word cloud analysis here. Now, it's one of the most visually intuitive tools BrainWatch offers. The size of each word reflects how frequently it appears across social media, posts, comments, and news articles mentioning the brand. For Toyota, the dominant word, the biggest, boldest term is reliable. That says everything. Right behind it are hybrid, RAV4, safety, Camry, and Corolla, all positive product-driven associations. The word recall does appear. You can see it in the darker red as a caution flag we need to address, but it is not the defining word. The defining word is reliable. For Honda, the dominant term is Civic, a beloved model with a passionate community. Sporty, CRV, fun, and Accord round out the positive associations, but look closely. CVT issue right down here um appears in the dark red, and the word recall is present in similar um size. Toyota's indicating comparable frequency. The key difference is Honda's negative terms are more product specific, meaning they point to tangible mechanical failures, which makes them harder for Honda to deflect with general brand messaging. Now, if we look at the competitive analytics head to head, this is just a head to head comparison slide. The story tells the story it tells is definitive, excuse me. Red bars are Toyota, blue bars are Honda, and across every single metric, Toyota leads. Starting at the top, social media mentions, Toyota generated approximately 4.8 million brand mentions in the analysis period compared to Honda's 2.8 million. Toyota simply has a larger share of voice in the automotive conversation online. Moving down, positive sentiment. Toyota's 58%, Honda's 51% reliability score. Toyota 75, Honda 73. Global marketing share, Toyota's at 13%, 13.6 to be exact. Honda's at 5%. Hybrid or electrified vehicle sales shares, Toyota's at 40. Total sales, Honda's at 18%. And finally, brand value score, normalized at 91 for Toyota and 76 for Honda. The gap is the wildest in the two areas. Global marketing share, where Toyota is nearly three times larger than social mention volume, where Toyota's brand footprint is nearly double Honda's. Both of these reflect a long-term compounding effect of Toyota's reliability, reputation, and hybrid leadership strategy. Now, strength and weaknesses comparison. Let's summarize the strengths and weaknesses for both brands in a structured way. Toyota's strengths are well established. It is the world's most valuable car brand, holds a number one global market share position, leads in hybrid and electrified vehicles, earns the highest reliability score amongst mainstream automakers, generates the fewest owner complaints per model, and benefits 58% positive social media sentiments. Their Beyond Zero sustainability roadmap is also increasingly important to ESG conscious consumers and investors. Toyota's weaknesses are slower full BEV rollouts compared to BYD and Tesla. The 2024 Tundra and Lexus engine recalls, a 14% domestic Japanese sales decline, social mention share that still has room to grow, and PHEV pricing that carries a large premium over base models, limiting accessibility. Now, Honda's strengths are slightly lower than average maintenance cost at about 441 per year versus Toyota's 473. A strong, fun to drive brand identity, fiercely loyal Civic, Accord, and CRV owner communities, and the CRV hybrid status at the top selling hybrid SUV in the United States in 2023. Now, Honda's weaknesses: 23% negative social sentiment, 201 problems per 100 vehicles in JD Power study, an ongoing CVT and infotainment class action lawsuit. Um, Total vehicle sales that are one third of Toyota's smaller global distribution footprint, which is quite alarming. If you look at the two weaknesses, strengths and weaknesses, you see quite a difference. Now, some alarming trends to watch. As a communication consultant, one of the most valuable things Brandwatch data can do is surface the trends that brands need to get ahead of before they can become a full-blown crisis. This slide identifies five alarming trends, three tied to specific brands and one industry-wide. Trend one: Toyota engine recalls backlash. Right, Brandwatch recorded a 40% spike in recall-related mentions in early 2024, tied specifically to the Tundra and Lexus LX engine debris issue. Sentiment in those vehicles communities dropped sharply, and that negatively risks bleeding into Toyota's broader brand perception if not managed proactively. Trend two: Toyota BEV competitiveness gap. Consumer conversations increasingly compare Toyota's BZ4X unfavorably to the BYD and Tesla on range, price, and software integration. This is a reputational risk for brands whose identity has been built in or on innovation, right? Being seen as a follower rather than a leader in the EV scene is a bit dangerous. Trend three, Honda CVT and transmission lawsuits. The class action lawsuit conversion around Honda CVTs, infotainment systems, and much others are generating high volume, emotionally charged viral content. 15% of all Honda brand mentions are now tied to quality concerns, and negative content travels farther and faster than positive content online. Trend four, Honda high recall volume. Honda recalled nearly 2 million vehicles in 2023 alone. In Brandwatch data, recall related posts account for the single largest category of negative mentions for the Honda brand, and the volume shows no sign of declining. The fifth and final trend here is Chinese EV brands rising. So BYD's social media mention volume now rivals Honda's in several key global markets. This is an industry-wide threat, but the brand fails to accelerate their electrification narratives. Both Toyota and Honda face growing reputational risks as consumers increasingly perceive Chinese EVs as innovation leaders. Not very good for our two brands here. However, so this is moving on to my recommendations here. Um, Based on this analysis, I have five strategic recommendations for Toyota's communication team. Excuse me. Recommendation one, amplify hybrid leadership messaging. With nearly 50% of US sales electrified in 2025, Toyota already has the data to dominate the social media narrative around hybrid reliability. So the recommendation is to build content campaigns that directly address consumer range anxiety. All right. Positioning Toyota's hybrid lineup as the smartest bridge between internal combustion and full EV, not just to compromise. Right. Recommendation two, proactive recall crisis communication. Recall mentions drive 15% of Toyota's negative sentiment rather than the reactive PR statements. Toyota should deploy Brandwatch real-time alerts so their social team can respond to emerging recall conversations within hours, not days. Speed and transparency are two things that contain a recall narrative before it spirals, right? Recommendation three, accelerate BEV storytelling. Young EV first consumers are actively being won over by BYD and Tesla right now. Toyota should launch a dedicated BZ series content strategy on TikTok and YouTube targeting 18 to 35-year-olds with authentic creator-led content that showcases real-world EV performance. Now, recommendation four, leverage the reliability advantage. Toyota has 2-point reliability score advantage over Honda and logs 39 fewer problems over 100 per 100 vehicles. This is a concrete, quantifiable um, edge that should be featured in comparative advertising, particularly in markets where Toyota and Honda compete head to head on the same model segments like the SUVs and family sedans. Now, for my fifth and final recommendation is to strengthen the sustainability of the narrative. Beyond Zero and Toyota's STEM education investments are powerful brand equity builders with socially conscious consumers. These stories should be amplified across Instagram and Facebook, where Toyota's core customer demographics are most active. It's just a little bit of what I think. Now, in conclusion, just to wrap this all together, the data is clear. Toyota holds a commanding lead over Honda in every measured category. Toyota's 13.6% global market share dwarfs Honda's 5%, underscoring a level of market dominance that very few brands in any industry achieve. Toyota's positive social sentiment of 58% outperforms Honda's 51%, and Toyota's negative sentiment is 8 percentage points lower. Toyota's hybrid leadership strategy is not just smart, it is validated by consumer data. Nearly half of all Toyota's US sales in 2025 were electrified. That is a brand that put its chips on a bet years ago and is now cashing in. Excuse me. Honda is not a weak competitor, though. Their fun to drive identity, loyal model communities, and lower maintenance costs are genuine strengths that Toyota cannot take for granted. But Honda's higher negative sentiment, recall volume, and quality controversy represents significant vulnerabilities that Toyota can and should exploit through strategic communication. And for both brands, the clock is ticking on electrification. Chinese EV brands are moving fast, however, or excuse me, whoever tells the better story about their electric future with real data, real transparency, and real consumer engagement will be, excuse me, the brand that wins the next generation of automotive buyers. Now, thank you for your time. Um, Happy to take any questions. Please leave them in the comments of the Canvas or under the comments on this YouTube video. As for my last slide, I have a full list of references supporting the analysis in included on this final slide and the submitted Word document as well. All the data was sourced from peer-reviewed industry reports, brand analytic platforms, including Brandwatch and trade publications. Thank you.